17-18 school year. In addition to tonight's budget hearing, we had 2 budget presentations last night for the Hackett Middle School PTA and for the Council of Albany Neighborhood Associations. We have 3 more community presentations scheduled next week as well. You can find the full schedule as well as much more information about our budget proposal in the 2017-18 budget news section of the district's website. Also, watch for your mail for our budget newsletter. We will be voting at our usual 15 locations throughout the city on May 16th. You can find searchable directories at the albanyschools.org. You can always call our communication offices with any questions at 475-6065. We have extended the application period for a new embedded Masters of Arts in Teaching residency partnership with the NYU University for a few more weeks. Anyone interested in taking part in this innovative program now has until May 22nd to apply. The NYU Steinhardt EMAT program will provide our school district with a terrific new resource in our ongoing work to prepare our teaching staff to better serve all of our students. The program will train up to 15 aspiring teachers a year over the next 2 years. Once candidates have completed the 12-month program, they will be prepared to step into a full-time teaching position in any one of the 4 core subjects at our middle schools and high school. To be eligible, candidates must have a bachelor's degree and cannot currently be a certified teacher. All candidates need to meet the NYU Steinhardt admission requirements. Please visit our district website for more information. I was honored to attend earlier this week our annual National Honor Society induction ceremony at Albany High, here at Albany High. We had our largest number of inductees ever this year. There were 78 juniors in total. To be eligible, students must maintain an academic average of 89.5 or higher. It was such a pleasure, and it was a real pleasure to celebrate our students for their outstanding achievement and to see the joy of being recognized for all their hard work. I wish them all continued success as they move into their senior year. Speaking of our seniors, Monday was College Decision Day for high school students nationwide. It is a day for seniors to celebrate the choices they have made for the next step in their academic journeys and the accomplishments that will help them to get there. Albany High seniors were accepted into more than 160 colleges and universities nationwide. The list is impressive as usual, and this is just the ones we know of right now. It includes Ivy League schools, SUNY schools from Long Island to Buffalo, historical Black colleges and universities, an array of public and private schools from sea to shining sea. We are looking forward to celebrating every member of the class of 2017 at our graduation ceremonies next month. A reminder, graduation will be at the Times Union Center this year. We are looking forward to that new, larger venue as well. The annual City School District of Albany's Elementary Art Show is coming up this weekend at the Albany Institute of Art and History. We are looking forward to a great kickoff this weekend with an opening reception at the Institute tomorrow from 5 to 8. All are invited. The Myers Brass and Woodwind Quartets will be performing. I would like to commend our District Art Department Chair, Kate Wright, and all of our art staff members for their tireless efforts and to allow our students to shine and be recognized for their fantastic talents. The annual art show highlights the talents of our art students from all 12 elementary schools. Admission is free throughout the weekend, so please take the time in your schedule to allow you to do the tours at the gallery. For my last item tonight, it's a pleasure to welcome Albany High's Mastermind team. We're going to have them come forward. Our Mastermind team won its league championship this spring with a 10-2 record. Albany High JV team also won its league title with an unbeaten record. So I would like to invite the Mastermind's advisor and Albany High fantastic science teacher, Larry Bizzarro, to come forward and tell us about his team and introduce his members of the varsity team.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for honoring these guys. My name is Larry Bizzarro, and I've been the coach advisor for the Albany High Masterminds team for the better part of a decade. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with some of Albany High's best and brightest. So you might be wondering, what the heck is Masterminds, as a lot of people are. So I'm going to read their description from their website. Masterminds is an activity that is more educational and intellectual than sports. It, it provides students, particularly the non-athletically inclined, with a meaningful opportunity to represent their school in an interscholastic setting. There is not enough attention paid to academic extracurriculars, especially compared to athletics. Mastermind attempts to fill an extracurricular void on the academic side of school. We often joke about this description because mostly Mastermind students are athletes, in our school at least, maybe not in some of the other schools, but they're also actors, they're musicians, they're singers, they're in the Model UN. They take part in a myriad of other school activities. These are just some of the most well-rounded students I've ever worked with. So what Masterminds really is, it's like competitive trivia. It's like 4-on-4, and every kid has a buzzer, and it's actually really exciting. We actually had some really close games this year that will go down in Masterminds history. I'll spare you the details. So for the past 3 years, we've made the playoffs every year, and we have never won a single game. So this year with this group, we made it to the last match. Unfortunately, we could not pull off the victory, but to me, that doesn't matter. This is the furthest any team has ever gotten in Albany High School Masterminds history. And it's just been so much fun watching them win, interacting with them between matches, playing games, trivia, putting on improv sketches with Francis and Lauren. It's just been a pleasure. So also our JV team went undefeated, which is very impressive, so stay tuned for the future of the Masterminds. I couldn't be prouder of a nicer group of ladies and gentlemen, and the seniors especially. I'm going to miss. Some of you guys have been with me for 4 years. So I'd like to recognize first the juniors, Aaron Lippett, Matan Adler, Juliet Garrity, Alex Sipos, who wanted to be known as Buckaroo for some reason, Lauren Wiley, seniors, this are the seniors now, David Powell, and these 3 guys who've been with me since they were, young bucks. So I couldn't really decide who was going to be captain, so we just kind of rotated these 3 guys. Jacob Satone, Liam Leary, and Francis Kershone, who I believe is going to come up and talk a little bit about his experience. Thank you guys so much.
On behalf of the entire Masterminds team, I would like to thank you, the school board, Superintendent Wilkins, Mrs. Ghetto, for your support and for inviting us here tonight. I speak for the entire team when I say that participation in Masterminds enriches our high school experience. As an incoming freshman, Masterminds was never something that I had really thought about, mainly because I didn't know what Masterminds was. It wasn't until the end of my freshman year that I began to understand that I had an acute interest in absorbing useless information. Seeing this, Bizarro asked if I might be interested in joining the team, and I accepted immediately, and I joined that following year. That sophomore year, with a few of my friends, we began recruiting more and more students to be part of this dream team. This is when I realized that it's not always easy to describe what Masterminds is. The main question that people always ask us was, what kind of questions do they ask? Like, do I have to study on certain topics? And I never knew what to say because they could literally ask you a question on anything. I've had questions asking everything from the names of first century Incan rulers to the name of Hermione Granger's cat in Harry Potter. For the record, we got one of those questions right. Miss Granger would be proud. As I spent more time with the other members of my team traveling to different schools, I realized that it wasn't about the victories that made Masterminds so special. I know that sounds cliche, but it's the truth. Like any club, you develop strong friendships and enjoy shared moments. When I look back on all the tournaments I've played, I don't necessarily remember specific times we won. I don't always remember which questions I got right. Instead, I remember the inside jokes that we shared on car rides, the warm-up games that we would play, Matan and his powerful pen-snapping enthusiasm. And most of all, I think of the friends I've made and the relationships that this team has fostered. I think this speaks to the importance of clubs like Masterminds. Before I finish, I would also like to add a special thank you to our staff advisor, Mr. Bizarro, for making this a really special year. So, thank you.
If the Masterminds team and Larry Bizarro would come up, we'll get a picture. You want to do it over there, Ron? No, we're coming to you. Okey doke. So, Mr. Bizarro, I'm going to announce it publicly because I had heard from my son that you were not being the, you were not going to be the advisor next year. And when I mentioned it to you now, I thought I would really sweeten the pot by saying that you have agreed to return as the advisor for Masterminds. Thanks. Dr. Wilkins, does that conclude it? We're good? Okay. The Albany Board of Education welcomes district residents, parents, students, and other people to our meeting. Community involvement at board meetings is encouraged so that we can better understand your views. By law, individual student information and particular personnel issues cannot be discussed in public. We encourage you to share specific student or staff concerns with the superintendent or other staff privately. Please note that the board generally does not respond to public comment. If you need a response, please consider contacting us via email, phone, or postal mail. When recognized by me, the board president, please state your name and city of residence. Statements are restricted to a maximum of 3 minutes, and speakers will be notified by me, the board president, when their time has expired. Thank you. Ira Bethia.
Good evening, everyone. So clearly this evening I came to talk a little bit about...
Mr. Bethia, could you make sure
Sure.
that it's the button is on as well so it can be recorded into the minutes?
It's on.
Thank you so much.
Sounds like it's on.
And also, if
I'm
you could, and also, in addition, if please state your residence.
Yep. I'm a resident of the city of Albany. I clearly came here this evening to talk about, Kenny Bruce's issue as it related to the board's action and resolution that you were taking against him to have him removed from the board. Clearly, he has decided to resign, and that's very disappointing for a resident like myself who has seen Kenny as being an advocate for trying to hold this board accountable in a different way than maybe it has been accustomed to in the past, which is with a lot more, in my opinion, accountability as well as, it's a tough situation, Albany. I have 2 kids. I've had 2 kids that were in the school district, 3 actually, and I want to talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to depart from the Kenny Bruce situation, only just to state that there are members here that are very disappointed that he is no longer on the board, and hopefully you guys will find a more cohesive way to function together, because over the years when you read about the newspaper accounts and the different things that are going on, clearly there's been an issue with the board for a very long time. So hopefully you'll be able to function better, and unfortunately Kenny won't be a part of that. But I'll talk a little bit about my kids in the school district, since it's always important for you guys to have a little information about that. I have a 11-year-old in the district now. I've had someone graduated my son from high school here, and I pulled my daughter out of the school district in the 7th grade, 6th grade, and put her into another school district or another educational environment. And I am on the verge to doing the same thing for my son, and let me explain to you why. I've had the good fortune of having my kids in a suburban school district, urban school district, and a private school district. And they're very important components that are missing within the Albany School District. I will only stand to say that when I pulled my daughter out of the school district here and put her in Doane Stewart, I saw a dramatic change in her ability to reach her full potential. My son is not having that experience in the school district today, and I'm well about to do the same thing and remove him from the district as well. It is literally night and day between what goes on here in the school district, particularly for kids of color, than what goes on in suburban schools and in private schools. And you really need to kind of work as a board to figure out how to change that dynamic while you're dealing with all of the other important issues that you seem to be dealing with. This is a systemic problem that has existed in the school district for decades now with the low graduation rates. And it's very fundamental that you figure out, and it's not hard to do, but if at some point in time you want to have individual conversations with me, I'll give you the formula for how it's done. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bethia. Joyce Meadows. Thank you, Mr. Bethia. I'm going to go on to routine consent now. Can I please get a motion to accept routine consent? Ms. Smith? Can I get a second? Ms. Roach? Any set-asides? Dr. Chatur? Mike?
I'm going to set aside F and H,
F and H.
BPI, Mechanical Services, and
Could-
James Millway.
Can you say that again?
F and H.
Thank you. Any other set-asides? Seeing none, all those in favor of routine consent? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to approve F, please, on routine consent? Ms. Smith? Seconded by Ms. Roach. Any discussion?
Both of them have the same issue.
Shall we combine them?
Sure.
All right, so we will withdraw that motion. And may I get a motion to approve F and H? Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. Smith. Discussion.
When you look at the insurance, they expired in like 15th of April and 1st of May. Maybe this is, since I'm new, I don't know the procedure. Maybe it's like an annual thing that before you sign it, it gets recorded as the actual new policy number or new policy date.
I think Mr. Hogan will explain.
Yeah, every vendor has a different, this is a certificate of insurance. So what happens, they all have different expiration dates on their annual insurance policy. So at the time when they submit proposals, which was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, these were the current insurance policies they had on file. So we will follow up with them and make sure in both of these cases that we get a renewal for the insurance renewals reflected in our files.
Any more questions?
Nope.
All right. All those in favor of approving F and H? And that is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we're on to the action for the academic Wait a second, what am I on? Nope, sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm on the, apologize. Yep, board policy. We're up to board policies, Ms. Savage.
So I speak on policy because I am the chair of the policy committee of the board, which is about board and staff committee. And these 4 policies were read and discussed at our last board meeting a week ago. That's how we always do it with policies. We discuss them 1 week, gives people time to reflect, and then we act on any changes the next week. And we will be talking about, or we will be acting on 4 different policies tonight. There are 2 related to computer and internet safety. These suggestions came by comparing our policy to a standard policy suggested by the New York State School Boards Association and reviewed by Kent Baker, our CIO, and 2 regarding transportation, specifically as it relates to homeless children, and those are 51, 51, and 8400, again, based on the comparison to the NISBA standard policy, and this time reviewed by our legal counsel, who does the most work for us around special ed. So I turn it back over to the president to open the floor for discussion.
Is there any, well, since we are acting on it, right, we are acting on them, so should we not get a motion and then do discussion? Would you like to take them individually or as a group? Anybody have a sense of that? I would get input. Okay, we will take all of the policies as a group. May I get a motion, please? Ms. Smith, seconded by Dr. Chatoor. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor of the policies? That is unanimous. We are now on the ELK lease extension, 395 ELK. Mr. Hogan, are you going to handle this?
Sure. As you're aware, we're in the process of buying the 395 Elk Street property. There have been delays on their end, just to the nature of how that dissolved with the previous charter schools, which were working out those legal issues. But because of these delays, as a precautionary measure, we wanted to have a lease renewal for next school year, just to ensure that we definitely have a place for those students next September. When we do close on the building, this lease will terminate. So it's just a precautionary measure.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Any discussion, questions? So can I get a motion to accept the resolution on 395 Elk? Ms. Smith, seconded by Ms. Roach. All those in favor? That is unanimous. The board will now entertain a resolution as follows.
Sorry for the interruption. I think the record should reflect that the resolution, which was posted as item 8A, is being withdrawn from the agenda and replaced with the following resolution.
Thank you. Duly noted and adopted. Thank you. Take it down now, please. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Resolution reads, whereas the Board of Education of the City School District Albany, hereinafter board, is the duly constituted governance body of the school district. And whereas Kenneth Bruce was a member of the board until May 4th, 2017, when he resigned effective immediately. Whereas the board has been advised that Mr. Bruce violated his duty of confidentiality regarding the confidential search for a new superintendent of schools, which is currently underway. And whereas the board consulted with board counsel on the legal options to address this serious concern, it is therefore resolved. 1, the board accepts the resignation of Kenneth M. Bruce effective May 4th, 2017. 2, the board affirms the decision made by the 6 remaining board members at its meeting with board counsel on April 24th, 2017, to direct board counsel to initiate the necessary legal action identified as Board of Education of the City School District of Albany against Kenneth M. Bruce, index number in Albany Supreme Court of 2847-17, to restrain and enjoin Mr. Bruce from any further such violations. May I get a motion to approve the resolution? Ms. Roach, seconded by Ms. Smith. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. We are now up to board member items, which in a sense has almost been tabled pursuant to discussions we're having about this, and I'll go on to board committee reports. Are there any committees that have met? Mr. Hogan, facilities, I bet, met.
Yeah, several have met since our last meeting, because, well, the last board meeting, we didn't actually do committees, it's every other one. So facilities did meet on April 19th. Most of that discussion was around the community advocacy, MWBE outreach efforts that we're working on in regard to the new future high school. We also updated on some small change orders, and we're discussing the status of the 50 North Lark Street construction. So that was the facilities committee. We also actually had an audit finance committee on April 24th. If any board members want to take these, they can. Otherwise, I'll just do them.
I mean, did you want the chair of the committee to speak? We can tell her to
It's the
speak.
board's pleasure, whenever they would like. Okay.
Ms. Roach is the chair of the committee, but I think Mr. Hogan's on a roll, because with the budget
Okay.
form earlier and now, you just keep going.
All right, the Audit Finance Committee was on April 24th. We actually brought in the CPA firm, the Bonadillo Group. They discussed the upcoming audit that will begin actually this month and go through the summer, and there'll be actually in the fall, around September, the final report is done. So we just talked about the scope of the audit, what the auditor's responsibilities were, what our responsibilities were as management, etc. That's the gist of that meeting. We also we had the grade configuration committee on April 25th. And on that committee, we talked about different options. The committee's been working very hard for about 18 months, looking at the growing enrollment, looking at possible different building configurations. Will be working diligently the next couple of months, and I think some recommendations will be coming soon.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Any other meetings? I think we're pretty much covered on those for committees. Thank you. Other business? Ms. Roach.
I'm just confirming that the budget hearing that's on board docs was done at 6:30 without us, right? Okay, that's good. Thanks.
That's wonderful. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I will just explain for those of you in the audience who may not come to board meetings regularly, well, welcome, of course, again. But we don't usually get out this early, though we actually have been getting out much earlier. We have almost every time. But what happened was we had a board meeting just 1 week ago, because normally we have about 2 weeks between our board meetings. So we had a full board meeting 2 weeks ago because of the school holiday, which pushed it off from the third week of the month to the fourth week. And that meant that we had this really short meeting tonight, but we needed to have it because we certainly need a place for our students to be. So we did our Elk Street extension and other matters that sometimes can't wait, especially in routine consent. So thank you all for coming out. We appreciate your doing so. May I get a motion to adjourn? Dr. Chator, and seconded by Ms. Roach. All those in favor? Okay, you're patting Ms. Roach had 2 hands up, but yes, we are done. Thank you. Remember this night when it's long.